Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever stared at off-grid solar power systems and just felt totally overwhelmed by all the technical jargon, the crazy electrical equations, or those endless lists of components, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to demystify off-grid solar math completely. We're stripping away all that intimidating terminology and replacing it with a really logical, step-by-step framework based on a fantastic guide from InfoGuide NG. By the end of our time today, you'll know exactly how to size a custom solar system tailored perfectly to your own energy needs.
Here's our clear roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Your daily energy load, 2. Sizing the battery bank, 3. Sizing the solar array, 4. Selecting the charge controller, and 5. Scaling and key considerations. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Your daily energy load. Okay, let's dive into this. Before we actually build anything, we have to figure out exactly how much power your life actually requires, right? I mean, you can't build a system if you don't know what it needs to support. So, to do that, we use one absolutely crucial metric, the watt-hour. Think of the watt-hour as the core currency of your whole solar ecosystem. You find it just by multiplying the wattage of your device by the number of hours you run it every day. This is literally the foundational key that unlocks the rest of our build. If we get this number right, the rest is just going to fall perfectly into place.
Let's look at how incredibly easy this math actually is. Say you've got a laptop that draws 120 watts. That's step 1. Step 2, how much do you use it? Let's say you're working on it for 5 hours a day. Step 3, just multiply them together. 120 watts times 5 hours, that equals 600 watt-hours. Boom, that's it. Your daily energy load for that laptop is 600 watt-hours. And you just repeat this simple process for every single thing you want to run. Every light bulb, router, fan, and just add them all up to get your grand total.
Moving on to Section 2, sizing the battery bank.
So now that we have our energy requirement, our 600 watt-hours, we need to build the stomach of our system to actually store it. This brings us to a concept called days of autonomy. Basically, this is the number of days your battery bank can keep your stuff running when the weather's terrible, cloudy, raining, and your panels aren't doing much. The standard industry recommendation here is designing for 3 to 5 days of backup. So let's take that 600 watt-hour load, multiply it by 3 days of autonomy, and we get 1,800 watt-hours. That is the usable capacity we need to safely get through a long, rainy weekend.
But wait, hold on, there's a catch here, and it's a huge one based on battery chemistry. It's a rule called depth of discharge. See, if you buy modern lithium batteries, specifically LiFePO4, they can pretty much deliver their full rated capacity safely. But if you go with old-school lead-acid batteries, you can only discharge those to 50% of their total capacity, otherwise you'll permanently damage them. So that 1,800 watt-hour requirement we just figured out, if you're using lead-acid, you literally have to double it. You'd need a 3,600 watt-hour battery bank just to safely get 1,800 out of it. But with lithium, you could just grab two 1,200 watt-hour batteries for 2,400 watt-hours total. You get a fantastic safety margin without having to buy double the capacity.
All right, Section 3. Sizing the solar array.
Okay, we've got our battery stomach built. Now we need the solar panel mouths to feed it. So how many panels do we actually need? Well, the magic number we're looking for here is 5. According to our source guide, 5 represents the average hours of good, usable sunshine per day across the US. To size the array, we just take our battery capacity and divide it by this number. Let's stick with that lithium setup we just talked about, 2,400 watt-hours. 2,400 divided by 5 hours of sun, that gives us 480. So mathematically speaking, we need a 480-watt solar array to fully recharge that battery bank in one single day.
But let's be real, we don't live in a perfect world where the sun shines exactly 5 hours every single day, right? So here is a highly recommended strategy. Over-panel your system. Since solar panels are actually pretty cheap nowadays compared to the rest of the year, you really should bump up your array. Take that calculated 480-watt need and bump it up to, say, a 600-watt safety net. That guarantees that even on those hazy, less-than-ideal days, you are still forcing enough power down into the system to keep your batteries completely topped off.
Next up, Section 4, selecting a charge controller.
With the panels and batteries sorted, we move to the brain of the operation, the charge controller. This little device regulates the flow of electricity so your batteries don't, overcharge and explode. Sizing it is all about calculating amperage. We use a super simple equation for this. Watts divided by volts equals amps. Let's use our numbers. Step 1, we have our 600-watt overpaneled array. Step 2, we divide that by our battery voltage. For a standard small system, let's assume it's a 12-volt battery.
Step 3, 600 divided by 12 equals 50 amps. But just like with the panels, we absolutely need a safety margin here, so you add some headroom and buy a 60 amp controller. That's going to ensure your controller runs cool and safely without maxing out its internal components.
And this actually brings up one of the most brilliant pro tips in off-grid design. Watch what happens if we tweak the voltage of our battery bank. See, 12-volt systems require high amperage, and that means you have to buy thick, super expensive copper wires and massive charge controllers. But, and this is a real game changer, if you wire those batteries for a 24-volt or even a 48-volt system, you slash the amperage down drastically. Let's run that same math again. A 600-watt array divided by a 24-volt battery. That's only 25 amps. Suddenly, you only need a 30-amp controller and way thinner wires. That can literally save you hundreds of dollars in equipment costs, all while making the whole shebang much safer.
Finally, Section 5, Scaling and Key Considerations.
Okay, so far we've designed a beautiful little system to run a 120-watt laptop. But what happens when we try to scale this up to heavy-duty appliances like air conditioning? Well, brace yourselves because we need to talk about this massive shock value number, $30,000. Yeah, according to our source guide, that is the estimated cost in lithium batteries alone just to run a single 500-watt AC unit 24/7 with 3 days of autonomy. A 500-watt AC unit running nonstop eats up a massive 12,000 watt-hours a day. Multiply that by 3 days of autonomy, you're looking at a 36,000 watt-hour battery bank and a huge 10-kilowatt solar array just to recharge the thing. I mean, this number perfectly highlights something crucial. True off-grid living requires a totally different mindset. Generating power is expensive, but conserving it, that's free.
As we wrap up our build, there are just a few vital final factors to keep in mind from the source material. First, local weather. If you live out in a sunny desert, you might only need 1 or 2 days of autonomy, which will save you an absolute fortune on batteries. Second, temperature spikes. Believe it or not, in really cold climates, solar panels become hyper-efficient in that freezing morning air, and they can send massive voltage spikes down the wire. That is exactly why you absolutely must have that 25% safety headroom on your charge controller, or it'll fry. Third, like we just talked about, use thinner copper wiring by designing for higher voltages, like 24 or 48 volts. And lastly, reliable equipment quality. Quality devices actually have built-in safety margins. Cheap controllers, they will fail if you push them to their limits. Remember, when you're off-grid, your power equipment is your lifeline. This is definitely not the place to cut corners.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought for this explainer. You've got the mathematical framework now, right? You know how to calculate watt-hours, size of battery bank, over panel and array, and balance your volts and amps. But before you go out and buy a single wire or panel, you really have to ask yourself, are you ready to fundamentally rethink your daily energy habits? Because as we saw with that $30,000 air conditioner example, the absolute true first step in building a successful off-grid system isn't buying panels. It's ruthlessly managing what you actually choose to plug into them. Thanks for joining me on this step-by-step explainer today, and happy building.